Next article.
Oh, I love this
because I'm
article.
willing to trigger the internet once again. So this is a story I covered from the New York Post. Women are struggling to find men who make as much money as they do.
Yep.
And I gave a very simple hypothesis. And people did not like it because it was an offensive hypothesis. I don't care. The hypothesis goes as such. If there is a 30-year-old woman who's working a job and she makes $75K a year, and there is a 30-year-old man who works a similar job and makes $75K a year, the woman looks at the guy and says, that's my peer. That's who I want to be with, or someone who makes more money. But that guy who's 30, making $75K a year, is not looking at a 30-year-old woman. He's looking at a 22-year-old woman. OkCupid data showed us this, that no matter what age the guy was,
Rude.
he would message 22-year-old women. Yeah,
Guilty as charged.
And I got to
Of
admit,
course. Hello. Except for me, the number is
No,
24.
My age range is like 21 to 45.
I'm not a fan. That's not for me.
Of 24-year-old girls?
I'm not. I mean, the idea of like, I guess, hooking up with a 22-year-old, sure, I get. But, and when I'm talking about a legitimate relationship where you actually want to have a life companion, have a family,
You
I
need
think it's
someone a
absurd to
little
be a 35-year-old man reaching out to 22-year-olds.
Yeah, she'd have
for
to be
that.
really evolved.
Yeah.
That's why I said 22. No, 24.
But even 24,
26 is the best
I've had
age.
3 significant relationships in my life, and each one of them began with a girl who was 24. When I was 24, when I was 30, and when I was 40.
Let me read this. Okay, the New York Post writes, the country is facing a crisis of broke dudes. According to new research from Cornell University, and it's left successful ladies single and disgruntled. I wonder if they misunderstood the data. When they ask women, are you finding men your age who have money? I think the issue is it's not so much that the dudes are broke, but that even if a guy is 30 and he's making $25K less than the woman, he's not going to choose a woman who's 30.
No, the problem is the women are making too much money. Okay?
How's that a problem?
Because it's ruined evolution. It's ruined everything that is built into a woman's brain. A woman wants to marry a guy who's lateral or above. And if a woman makes so much money, it reduces her pool of available men. The fault of there not being enough men is the fact that women make too much money.
Yep.
Boom, done. End of story.
So you think so you're saying
this is they're getting what they've asked for.
I think
Ha ha ha! Live in that.
Yeah.
I think.
By the way, I'm got a young girl at home myself. So boom.
Get rich.
I don't know if I agree with it.
Yeah.
I agree that
No, it changes. It's all about a dynamic. If the girls were making $35,000 a year and that same guy was still making $70,000 a year, she'd be like, there's just eligible men all over the place. But now she's making the same as the guy and she's like, I don't want him.
But I don't think that's absolute. I think if there was a guy making $50K a year and a woman was making $150, he'd be like, this is great. Like, we're going to have tons of money.
Actually, Pew has done a number of studies on this very thing, and women say that they want to date a man and marry a man that makes more money than them.
But everybody
Period.
wants to marry up in
No,
some fashion.
I don't want to marry up.
Okay.
Why would I want to
define
marry
up.
a woman that makes more money and works harder
It's
than
not-
I do and spends more time out
I
of
didn't
the
say
house?
that. I didn't say that.
Well,
I said marry up.
How are we calculating up?
Do you want to marry like a
point.
woman who sleeps in the gutter?
So it doesn't have to be money.
It's like
if she had a heart of gold and was willing to take care of my house and was kind of hot and good with kids, I don't care what she does as long as she's going to stop doing that and she's going to start taking care of the family.
Wow.
True story.
May I interject?
True story.
This is a
Yes,
societal
please.
difference. Yes.
No, actually, this is evolution. This is me as a man speaking to women as women. This is not crazy things. Go ahead.
I think that Jack is correct. I believe that this
The
is what is
lady
known
says.
as hypergamy.
Hypergamy.
So I have read that men become more depressed when their spouses make more money than they do.
Of course they do,
This
because
is
men
not a
thrive on
case-
status.
This is not a case of just having a bunch of money. This is very much about who earns the money. And for guys, it is very important to make more money than their spouse. And I'm not going to say that's materialistic. I'm just going to say that's the way that it is. And this is the data that I've read. This depresses men to make less than their spouses. This increases the
Yes.
risk of divorce.
Yes.
Like, it's actually a problem for guys.
Look, men are hardwired to build, create, provide,
Right.
and protect. And if you take away the things that we do, then people are going to feel terrible.
Right.
This I'm glad you brought this up because, dude, I've been writing and thinking about these issues for 10 years, man. And I just spent 2 hours on Benjamin Boyce's channel ranting about this stuff in my most lucid state, as a matter of fact. Please check it out. I was on a roll talking about this. This is the chickens coming home to roost. In 148 out of 150 of the top metropolitan areas in America, entry-level women make more money than their entry-level counterpart males.
Right.
And they're unhappy about it.
Yep.
They've all been herded into college, saddled with debt. They get good jobs. They look around. The men are just the same as them. There's nothing exciting about that. There's no hopeful future in that. There's no, this guy's going to build, create, protect, and provide for me. I can already build, create, protect, and provide for myself, says the woman. And that's why, Tim, I think you're off on this. I think that the natural age difference builds in this dynamic where a man and a woman could be just as smart, just as interested in the world, just as capable, but by virtue of the age difference, the man is more established, the woman is less established. You have that status difference. The man can provide and protect, the woman can nurture and love and caretake, and people are happier that way. I strongly recommend men don't get married until you're 35, until your career is established, you got your money, and then definitely look for a woman who's about 10 years younger than you. That is 100% my advice.
What was the Pew Research you're talking about? Because I'm trying to find it.
Pew Research, consistent studies that show women prefer to marry a man that makes either as much money as them or more, never less.
I cannot.
I will find it. I will find it for you.
I can find, though, this study from 2017. Americans see men as the financial providers, even as women's contributions grow. Even as women are starting to make more and more salaries, men are still viewed as the breadwinners.
Yeah, as they should be. That's the way we're designed. That's why we have testosterone. That's why we have big muscles. That's why we can smash things. That's why women are soft and sweet and they like to cuddle things and they feed them from their breasts because they literally give other humans life. That's how we're designed. It's what our hormones do.
This is crazy.
Can't believe we're getting into this on this show.
Jack Murphy, what are you doing? We're going to get in so much trouble.
Let's do it.
From Market Watch, May 27, 2019, this one thing in your marriage increases the risk of divorce by 33%.
Oh, what is it?
Women making more money than men?
Do tell us.
That's the image. The financial gender balance within marriage seems to be changing at a faster pace. They say, it could be a race to the finish in more ways than one. When wives earn more than their husbands, some men just can't handle it.
That's what's up.
Neither can the women.
Nobody can. Nobody likes it.
Only Jessica Valenti out there gets off on making more money than her husband.
Weird.
Only Jessica Valenti gets off on there thinking that her husband is at home and he's so sexy. He's so powerful and masculine. He cut the crusts off the kids' sandwiches and he wears his slippers and his health robe all day. Only Jessica Valenti thinks like that.
I've seen
and if they don't, I'm sorry, and if the women give lip service to this notion, they're lying.
Well, I wonder if it's about money or status.
I know.
Because I don't know if it's about money. Like,
no, it's about status and power.
Status and power. Because if a guy becomes the president, he doesn't make a lot of money, but he's super powerful.
He will have.
And women love that.
It's about power and status. And there's no faulting women for this. Women historically do not have physical power.
Right.
The way that women have physical power is by proxy.
We are the neck that turns
by
the head.
making men do things for them using cunning, guile, beauty, caretaking, nurturing, and delivering children. Men are proxy power for women. This is the way you survive in the caves, in the wilderness. They can't go around beating up the bears, and they can't go around beating up the hostile groups that are going to take us over. So you got to get a man to do it for you. How do you get a man to do it for you? You look cute, you look pretty, you take care of shit.
Here's what they say. They say the risk of divorce is nearly 33% higher when a husband isn't working full time, according to Money, Work, and Marital Stability, assessing change in the gender determinants of divorce, a 2016 study of more than 6,300 couples by Alexandra Kilowald, professor of sociology at Harvard University. Quote, for marriages formed after 1975, husbands' lack of full-time employment is associated with higher risk of divorce. Expectations of wives' homemaking may have eroded, but the husband breadwinner norm persists. The apparent disconnect may be due to peer pressure or attitudes passed down from parents. Another theory,
through evolution.
A persistent glass ceiling for women at work may encourage men to believe they should also be the highest earners at home.
Persistent glass
One thing they never talk about, though, is there's always an excuse, but it's always the man's fault.
Of course it is, because everything is the man's fault, period.
This sounds like it's like a lack of purpose issue. if someone doesn't have a full-time job, maybe they're missing purpose in their life and they become much less attractive.
That is a separate issue, but
That's a
yes,
good
you're
point,
exactly
yeah.
right. People don't have a mission or a purpose or an expression of values that's unrelated to their source of income. And people have terrible, horrible lives when their values and their mission and their purpose aren't aligned with the things that they have to do to earn money.
I would even like to see independently wealthy people that inherit a bunch of money that don't have jobs and see their rates of success in marriage, because I think that would be low also. If you don't have something that you love outside
Yeah, but
of
those
yourself.
those two things aren't necessarily the case. You can be born with a lot of money and have passions,
Yeah.
building no meat or
But my
vaccines
point is,
or whatever.
it's not that women or men seek money in their partner. It's that they seek drive, ambition, status, and power, or a potential for it.
No, what they seek is differential power. That's what both parties seek.
What do you mean by that?
Because you can be a broke ass dude and find a woman that looks up to you because she's broker, right? This is
Relative power?
Yes, it's about relative power. It's about relative power and relative status. A woman that doesn't have a job, doesn't have a career, doesn't have any education, latches on to a guy that's got a minimum wage job and has a room in a house somewhere. Well, she's moving up in the world, right? It's all about relative power. And that's why more women graduate high school, more women apply to go to college, more women graduate college, more women get hired out of school for jobs. Women make more money than men coming out of school.
Yep.
Women live longer, are healthier, have less alcoholism, drug use, suicide. And at the end of the day, they control more wealth when they die.
Yep.
Okay.
Interesting.
And all these things are pushing and they're happening. And at the same time, women's satisfaction in life has gone down. Marriage rates have gone down. Divorce rates are going down, but less so than with the marriage rate. So more people are getting divorced. Fertility is down. Childbirth is down. Happiness is down. Why? It's not because we live in a world that's like horrible, terrible place. We live in a world of abundance. We have everything that we want. This is the greatest time to be alive. Finish this thought. It's the greatest time to be alive.
Correct.
But these women are miserable because they make more money, they're more educated, they have more power than they really want, and the pool of men available to them diminishes with each step that they take up the ladder. It is a self-defeating cycle that we can all observe on the outside. And man, I'm so glad we're talking about this. Bro, I've been writing about this stuff 10 years.
I'll make it simple. It doesn't matter if it's the men's fault. They want to write these studies and they say men can't handle that women make more money than them. It's like, okay.
That's not it at all.
Well, that just means that women still can't date the men. You can blame the men for it. But if a woman wants to date a man and she wants to find a good man and men don't like this because you think they can't handle it, well, then make a choice.
Get better.
Do you want to date them or do you want to adhere to what the man wants? So it's like when you're in a relationship, you don't just dictate the relationship. You don't say, you're dating me now. That's it. No, every relationship is, are we providing something to each other in some capacity that makes us feel fulfilled? The relationship will work. If this story from the New York Post says that, these women can't find men who make as much money as them, and then this other study says men can't handle it, well, then it sounds like
both parties are dissatisfied, bro.
By all means, say the men are losers who can't handle it. Okay, that still means the woman doesn't get a date.
Yeah.
So there we go. It's an impasse.
Right. Well, the system is flawed. We've just continued. We've just decided to and this is feminism. This is so critical race theory. This is SJW. This is the whole thing about the radical left. We have obliterated the differences between men and women in our minds and in our discourse. But you can't erase the biological evolutionary differences that are built into us over millions of years.
But the social influences as well.
That's big time, because when you remove the incentive to do better to people, then they strive less to do better. I've done my best work for the most part when I didn't have enough and I needed to get more. I was seeking that power. Once I get the power, I find that there's this tendency to sit on my laurels, to rest back and be like, now I have it.
You got to work on that, bro.
Right. So I have to create like this outside invisible enemy that I need to overcome, basically. I love Peterson's work. He talks a lot about this stuff. I keep thinking about him while we're talking about this. This whole social structure where you have enough, you have everything, government's going to take care of you. I think it's killing incentive for people to do better.
I also think that you insult and demean the maturity and capabilities of 24 or 5-year-old women. Yeah, absolutely. There's no reason in the world a mature, established 35-year-old man cannot have a healthy, productive, fruitful relationship with a woman 10 years younger than him.
I didn't say that. I just think...
You just said they were immature and they shouldn't be matched up.
22.
Okay, 22, 23, 24.
Look,
Women
they're
mature
10-year-olds who
way
go
more.
to college.
Women mature way more quickly than men, dude.
It's
Way
just-
more
it's
quickly.
preference.
But
To each their own.
at age 15, women, they're basically women already. Right? And it's like men hit their prime in their 30s.
35.
Why wouldn't a man in his prime latch on to a woman in her prime? Why not? That seems the most logical thing possible.
That's what's happened for millennia.
For millennia.
Older
It's-
men would
and
marry
part-
like 15-year-olds.
And the
Yeah, that's
societal,
kinda creepy.
the
Yeah,
societal
It's creepy in
shame
this society. It didn't
around
used to be.
dating a younger woman is just jealousy. It's jealousy because, as you said, every man in the world wants to date a 22-year-old woman.
According to OkCupid data. that's
According to
what they found.
OkCupid,
I don't know.
your own two eyes, all of history, every piece of
But I'm
literature,
citing
every
this on
book you ever
purpose
saw.
because it's not your opinion. OkCupid actually tracked
No, I know.
all the messages,
Yeah.
and they found no matter how old a guy was, from even younger guys,
Why do you think that is?
always mentioning 22-year-olds.
Why do you think that is?
For I think evolution, like biological reasons.
Right, exactly right.
And what OkCupid found was that, very disgustingly, in my opinion, men are actually attracted to women much, much, much younger than that, but would not want to have a family with someone younger than that. So men choose 22 as the equilibrium between mental and physical maturity.
Why is that disgusting? There's nothing
Little kids.
wrong. Well, little kids, of course, dude.
Well,
But
that's
there's- but there's-
hyperbolic on my part.
Right,
Like,
but there's literally
teenagers.
nothing wrong with seeing a woman of fertile age and thinking she is an attractive sexual partner. But like acting on that with an 18-year-old woman is a completely different story. But there's nothing wrong with seeing an 18-year-old woman, and being like, "Oh, she's attractive." Of course she is. She's in the
I'm
prime
not
of her
talking
beauty.
about 18. OkCupid data said men want women younger than that.
Okay, well,
And that I find creepy.
yeah, it is.
Society has rules. Like,
It is creepy today, but guess what? It wasn't creepy until just recently.
I don't know.
All of humanity, all of history, all of time.
I still think it was creepy.
Yeah.
I think a lot of past cultures did a lot of really creepy, gross stuff.
Yeah, well, of course, of course, and of course, I'm not advocating for guys in their 30s
Like
dating
ritual sacrifice,
anyone
man.
under 22. But I think it's perfectly reasonable to have a relationship with a woman who's in her early 20s.
Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to see the full show, come back to this channel, youtube.com/TimcastIRL, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., where you can leave comments and super chat, and we actually will read your comments on the show. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and if you want exclusive members-only content, segments you can't get anywhere else, go to timcast.com, become a member, and we even have full bonus episodes. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.